24. So that's had to have
Wow,
been like a year ago or something.
that's pretty awesome though. All right, so I'm gonna have to go in and listen to this audio on the front end because I listened to last week's episode and
Oh yeah, last week you were peaked the entire time.
yeah, which is
I turned you way down, and then it just made you sound like weirdly muffled.
yeah, and I don't
But
understand.
like
I don't
you were on the
understand why.
same level, but I don't know why your audio came through like
Yeah,
peaked the entire fucking.
see
You didn't
what's
sound that loud to me. I don't.
no. I mean, if I'm looking at the raw feed right now, and I'm talking like this. I don't even. Well, I just barely step into the yellow sometimes. Like I'm purposely. This is where I mean I keep myself at this level. Like you and I, when you look at the levels,
You sound like you're peaking a little bit on my end.
really.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
wonder. I wonder if it's a Discord thing.
Yeah, I wonder if Discord's doing some secondary processing or something.
Let me see something here. Because I know you're right. I know we do this in Discord, so maybe that's what it is. Um,
Acoustic TV.
let's see. Okay, let's see. Hopefully, do you still have my audio? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Check, check.
Check, check.
Oh my.
Oh my,
That is a
that is.
problem.
Um,
Holy
holy
shit.
shit.
Check.
Check.
That
That
A
A
B
B C
C
D
E F
E F
G
G
H I
H I
J
J
element of
element
B.
of B.
I think
I
that's
think that's
better.
better.
I mean, I know we've said it, but we'll. I gotta look. This was the highest quality, like best bacon cooking video I could find before, but it's just unfortunate that he overcooks the shit out of the bacon.
Yeah, that was the problem. It was Discord because I'm perfectly fine on my end.
See, now you sound. Oh, maybe I have you turned down though.
No, I turned myself down because when I did the mic test through Discord, I just about blew
Yeah,
my ears out. So that's exactly what the problem was.
yeah, you sound a little better.
And do you want me to go in and turn it down more?
No, now let me turn you up a little bit. Have you? Let me put you at 100. All right.
La la la, talking to Oreo, saying things, doing like we used to do. We haven't done this in such a long time. It's fun to
No, that
do
sounds
this
good.
again. Okay, it's been a
I was
minute since
just
we did that.
I was just gonna tell you to do the thing. You know what you're. All right, let's get. Oh, we got 2 minutes. We don't need him in here yet.
Show. Okay. Actually, I remember to check it this time to make sure the non-video participants is turned off. How proud
Yeah,
of
you
me?
don't want that.
How good am I?
You're getting better.
It's only taken 109 episodes.
By episode 209, you're gonna be a pro of this.
Let's see. Ah,
There we go.
you need to make a 4K bacon video. Yeah, actually, Rebel, if you would make us a 4K bacon video, that would be that would be the best thing ever. And as long as it's not, it's one where they don't burn the fucking bacon.
There's got to be someone out there that didn't burn their bacon because it's already too far gone right now.
Yeah, and he's still flipping it.
He's still going. He's like, do, 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 do. He got distracted by TikTok or something. And like, what are you doing? What do you flip? That's done.
I'm pretty sure that if you go back and watch this, if you if you can set it to where he takes it out at like a minute 10, minute 15 of this video,
Yeah, look how black the edges
yeah,
are, bro.
and it's not even done cooking yet because it's still sizzling. Like
That's
that,
crispy bacon right there.
because that's the thing is you have to take the bacon out before it's done cooking because the bacon grease is
Yeah, it
still
keeps
really
going.
hot and it continues to cook. So I mean, this guy really needs to be educated.
Now recording.
Everyone needs to get educated.
I need to work on that transition too. It's just a hard transition.
That's good. It's fine. Yeah, we're in.
Yeah,
All right.
I really like on
Welcome
those little
to
screen wipes.
yeah. Oh yeah, there you go. Fancy like the Windows 95 transitions.
Oh yeah,
It goes whoosh,
that's what
and
we should do.
I think it came with the sound effect.
Yeah.
Anyways, welcome to Pigs Pod, episode 109, the Politically Incorrect Gaming Podcast. It is July 30th, 2023. We keep forgetting to do that. We're gonna come back in years and not know what the fucking day it
Well,
was.
as long as we do it like every couple of episodes, we can at least get like a vague idea of when they were.
Oh, I guess so. You can just check the first 5 minutes of like every episode, and
Yeah.
eventually be like, oh, I found one. All right.
So like yeah, one or two of them will have the date in it. So
I was thinking about it. The thing I was telling you about when my wife's friend was trying to look us up.
Mhm.
She's like, "What's it about?"
Well,
I was like, "Well, PIGS stands for politically incorrect gamers." But she's like, "What do you guys talk about?" I'm like, "It's a good question."
we don't
'Cause
even know what we
we-
talk about.
You know what's so funny? Some of these podcasts, some of the snooze-tacular podcasts, make a whole list of 30, 40 items.
Mhm.
And it sounds like they're done about 15 minutes in. And then
Yeah.
they're kind of like, well, hey,
Well,
what do you guys think
I
of
remember
the update?
when we first started doing this, what, 10 years ago. It
Oh,
was
forever.
yeah, it was like, "Hey, what do you want to talk about this week?" And we would have this conversation like 2, 3, 4 days before the episode, and we'd talk about it and be like, "Oh, let's talk about this. Wow, we should talk about this." And then now it's like my last communication was like, "Hey, I'm taking a shit. I'll be there in a minute."
Yeah.
Like
Well,
that's where we're at.
I think we also got to a point I don't know if it was age or dad brain. You know how they say you got mom brain, dad brain?
Mhm.
I think we'd have those conversations and then we start the podcast and go, what did we say we were going to talk about?
Yeah. Or it would just get to the point where you're like, "Nah, I don't want to talk about that."
Yeah. So it just was a waste of time. And we naturally don't like wasting time. So we just stopped doing that altogether.
Yeah.
We just, yeah, fuck it. We'll figure it out when we start. And then somehow we keep getting 2-3 hour episodes. And we're like, oh, fuck.
Like,
How long have we been
do
going?
it. Yeah. Well,
So I do have kind of a big thing. I don't know.
all right,
I was talking to Mystery. I want to reach out to Bunge
okay.
because I feel like his input would be more relevant. I'm trying to think how to break this news. Maybe this is too early. If my wife's friend's checking this episode out, we don't want to tell anybody yet. Yeah, she probably not listening. She probably listened to Misa Body, Misa Choice, and went, "What the fuck?" Yeah. By the way, that was the first episode that popped up when she looked us up. Was Misa Body, Misa Choice, where we were talking about Jar Jar Binks being was he a prostitute or something?
Oh
And then
yeah.
he got knocked up.
Yeah. When after episode 3, he becomes the pariah because everything gets like the whole reason Emperor Palpatine
Yeah.
became the emperor is because Jar Jar Binks got conned into calling for a vote of no confidence.
Yeah, which he did. He did. Everything was his fault.
Everything is Jar Jar Binks' fault. I mean,
Anakin didn't help it.
no,
But
no, but I mean, Anakin wouldn't be where Anakin was at if it wasn't for Jar Jar doing what he did.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Misa sucking dick now. That's right. I remember that. But anyways, so talking to Mystery, I talked to the wife about it for I don't know, like a couple hours the other day. We were thinking about it, talking about it. It's not going to be for a while, maybe like 2 years, but we're thinking of moving to Canada.
Oh, very cool.
We're thinking Alberta. The
Oh.
research I've done, I'm really thinking Alberta, probably not in Calgary, but like an hour outside of Calgary,
Gotcha.
where rent and everything's much cheaper. But we're still right there by. I mean, Calgary's a huge fucking city. It's like the size of Manhattan. It's
Right.
fucking. So we're thinking about it, just because like it doesn't have a ton of benefits. Like rent is about the same.
Yeah.
And it is cheaper now where we're at, but just because, and we've talked about this before, we're just lucky that the landlord we have now hasn't raised the rent that much during all the everyone else going fucking nuts and just raising rent like crazy. Um, but we're getting kind of like nervous that at any moment, because of the way everything is, he could just decide to just sell this place. And then what do we do? Where do we go?
Yeah, you're
Because we're renting.
fucked.
We're renting a house, and we signed like a 1 year lease or something like 9 years ago when we moved in. We haven't seen the landlord. We haven't signed anything else. So we're just kind of hanging out. Luckily, he hasn't raised the rent, but he's also old and he lives really far away in California. At any moment, his realtor friends could just be like, "Yeah, just sell your properties, man. Fuck it. Right now's the best time. These idiot investors will pay fucking 3 times the price you bought it for. Fuck it."
Yeah, Zillow will pay through the nose for it.
Yeah, and then we'll just be fucked. So, like, we're kind of iffy. Plus, uh, my wife's finishing school, and she would be done like right around that time and be looking for work. And by then, hopefully, you know, have transitioned careers, and I'll be doing mostly remote work. Uh, if we go to Canada, it might be different because they do kind of want you to work there eventually
Right.
and pay taxes there and whatnot. Uh, it won't be cheaper rent, but taxes be a little cheaper and they'll actually be used properly. We'll get better,
Yeah, you'll have better health care.
yeah, that's
Well,
the main
cheaper health
concern.
care. We'll just call it that. I think that's the safest
Yeah,
thing. It's cheaper health care.
yeah, much cheaper because we had kind of a scare with my daughter this week. Was playing with my son and she bashed her head on uh the door jamb, whatever,
Ooh.
and she passed out for like 30 seconds, was like literally unresponsive. My wife
Oh.
said her eyes rolled back in her head.
Oh man, that's a concussion from hell then.
Yeah, and she wouldn't do anything, and then she came to, and then so we took her to the hospital. I just went to the hospital from work, and they made us stay there for 4 hours because anything over like 5 seconds unconscious, they want to observe you. So she seemed fine, but she had a huge goose egg.
Oh yeah. Well, that's good. Yeah, I've always been told that you want the swelling to go out, not the swelling to go in. So yeah,
Yeah,
the goose
yeah.
egg is good.
Yeah, they even told us that if it actually spreads a little bit, that's actually good too. Like if
Mm,
it starts going towards her eye, and
yeah.
that's a good sign that nothing's wrong. But they were like, "Oh, keep an eye on her, watch her communication, how she's walking, all that stuff." And she seems fine,
Yeah, kids are
but it's
resilient.
just that's her third like really big head bash in like the last year. Because she had one a couple months ago that was really scary too. They were outside playing again with my son,
Is your son the common
and
denominator here?
yeah, and he somehow hit her on the head with the hose. I don't know if he's swinging it around or something, but just conked her right in the middle of the fucking head with the hose.
Oof.
And for the first like month or two, she was like stuttering, but not like her words, like her sentences. It was weird. She would be like, I just want to go outside and play. Like then she would say a whole sentence. She wasn't getting caught up on like words. It would be like at the beginning of a thought, she would like be putting it together, and then she would. So it was weird. We asked a couple doctors about it, and none of them. They were like, "Yeah, I haven't really seen anything that. It's not really like traditional like stuttering." But
Well,
it's just weird that it happened soon after she got.
yeah. I mean, it could be coincidental. It could have just been, one of those little developmental things that
Yeah. Well,
kids kids go through from time to time.
it could have been a fucking YouTube video she watched that somebody talked like that, and then she picked up that weird habit.
I've noticed that with how old's your little how old is your girl? She's what,
Sh-
3?
She'll be 4 this
Okay.
week.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, I think when Izzy was around that age, she was watching YouTube videos and things like that, that she would pick up speech patterns and
Yeah.
um or
See, that's what we were wondering, and we were also kind of hoping because like if you like really got her focus and got her like excited about something, it would go away. She would no
mm,
longer do it. But then if you were just like casually like asking her like, "Oh, whatever you want for lunch, sweetie?" She'd be like, and like I don't know, it's just weird. But
yeah,
like,
I bet that was a speech thing.
I think so. But
Well,
the
just
other one was scarier. And
yeah,
then
that's scary.
my wife also has a suspicion that she might have like a slight immune deficiency because a lot of the time she didn't get sick this weekend when we had our birthday, but a lot of the time when she's around other kids, she just gets sick.
Well,
But like
children
that
are just
happens. Yeah,
walking
they're
petri.
gross
Yeah, they're
fucking.
nasty creatures. It's been so nice to go through the summer with with Izzy not being in school because she
Yeah,
doesn't
not
bring
getting
home.
sick all
Yeah,
the time.
well, see, the
Yeah,
problem is she's great. She's an extremely healthy kid, but she'll come home and she'll have like a sniffle, and then Heather will get she'll get like a pretty good cold, and then I'll
yeah,
end up something that's like similar to the plague, and it's just like it's all winter long. I was just like. Oh, it's sucks. I mean, we're always sick. It is the
yeah.
worst. I've had people like when we do 501st events, they're like, "Hey, can you make it?" I'm like, "No." Like, "Oh, let me guess, you're
Or
sick." I'm like,
yeah.
"Yeah, actually, I am."
Well,
it's,
yeah,
it,
because kids they
oh,
sneeze right into each other's mouth. Just
well,
how you
that,
like that?
yeah, and I mean, I can't speak for where you're at, but I mean, I probably can because the culture is probably similar. But I live in a very conservative you know region, and it's like you went to school sick. Oh, if you're not dying, you go to school. I could just see the top of her head. I love it. But it's like, oh, you're going to school sick, and then, or mom and dad don't have time to take the day off. We got to go to work, so you got to go to
Yeah.
school. So here,
Well,
here
that's
comes the little kid that should be sent home, is rolling around, with the rest of the
yeah.
kids,
Well, and then
and
they spread it around to other kids that also come in sick, can't stay home.
yeah, and it's a continuous cycle. I mean, from school starts in 3 weeks for us, give or take. It starts on the 16th of next month, so two
Oh,
weeks, 2.5
we're on
weeks.
the 14th or something.
Yeah, so I
Yeah, the
mean,
14th for us. So yeah, 2 weeks.
yeah, so but then from probably from like the second or third week of September until June, there's somebody in the house it has something,
Yeah,
you know.
that's kind of how it is for us too. That's why, like, that's what I keep telling my wife. I'm like, well, you don't remember our son was sick all the time too. Because kids go to school, nobody washes their fucking hands.
Mm-mm.
They're sneezing right into each other's faces. They're putting their finger down their pants and scratching their butt crack, and then going back to playing with toys. Like their
Yeah,
kids are fucking
they're nasty.
disgusting.
They're disgusting little petri
Yeah,
dishes. But and like I said, around here, I would say the under 10 years old, I would say the vaccination rate for um, uh, just in general. I mean, I'm not just talking COVID and things like that, but just the vaccination rate in general for kids under 10 is,
yeah, and very low.
yeah, it may be 50%, maybe.
I don't know if it's that high.
Um, well, I know
Probably like
that
30.
the district that we lived in before Izzy started in school, it was the district that the twins were going to. They had a it was a hippie school. That's the best way to put it. It was the kids like we're not getting vaccinated. We don't believe in government control and this, that, and the other. So we're going to start our own school. And the school ended up getting shut down because all of their kids were out for like 3 weeks with hoof and mouth disease. And I mean, it's like,
So
hmm.
they just shut the whole school
Oh
down.
yeah, the health department came in and said, "Yeah, you're closed." I mean, it wasn't just that. Like it was,
Yeah,
it was like multiple incidents of things like that with kids just getting like really, really, easily preventable diseases, and it would be like, and then what sucks is, those kids still intermingle with the public school kids, whether it be
yeah.
maybe at church or a community function. So it was like it didn't matter how much the kids in the public school went to prevent it. We were sick all the time. Like I complain about being sick, with Isabel, but when we had the twins, it was even worse.
Oh yeah,
Because I mean that school district was awful,
yeah.
and
Well, if they don't care and nobody's saying, and they
yeah,
fucking watch your kid scratch their own butt crack, and that
yeah,
teacher doesn't say anything, doesn't care.
that yeah.
There's no health supplies or disinfectant anything anywhere. Like
Well, yeah, they put all the weight back on the schools don't have money for books, let alone fucking tissues. So
yeah,
then you turn around and you go to the community and be like, hey, we really need these supplies, and the community's like, fuck you, I'm not giving to no liberal commie schools,
Yeah.
and it's just
Yeah.
speaking of that, did you hear about the Houston school district in Texas? They are they
Maybe.
starting this year, or this coming school year, they are replacing the library, like library classes and the library itself, with what they're literally
With a gun
call
range?
no, close. They're calling it
Oh,
discipline centers.
what is that?
Yeah, it's where kids can go that they're having issues with, and but they can go, and they have like you can still do remote work. Like you can be in that room and still be doing your classwork for that other class that you were just kicked out of. But yeah, they fired they fired all of their librarians, and
So
it's
this is how smart they are. They're like, we'll get rid of even more education. We want to be even stupider.
yeah,
And then we want to discipline our kids to no end. In school, we're going to discipline them.
right, yeah. And it just that just blew my mind, and it's not the district itself that's doing it.
It does sound like Texas though.
It does. Well, apparently that district has some of the worst like test scores and grades of the whole state. So the state they've like crossed some threshold, and the state is now in charge of and doing like making policy for the district. So the state has decided, yeah, this is a good idea. Like
Is
it's not
it
a good
across
idea.
the whole? Is it just one district that's done it so far or
Yeah,
something?
it's the Houston school district. I don't know
Oh,
how.
the whole Houston
Yeah,
school did.
I don't
Okay.
know how that how that works, but I mean Houston's. I mean that's the largest school district in the state.
Yeah. Well, that's just further proof to my point why we want to leave America. Edu- There's no money in education here.
No.
Healthcare is fucking awful. The thing that makes me joke when you mention like a country that has like a healthcare system, you tell people, and they're like, yeah, but you'll go in for something and you have to wait in there for 3 or 4 hours. It's like, what do you think happens in the emergency rooms
Oh
in
yeah,
America?
yeah.
You wait if you're not dying right that second and they have to see you or else you'll die. You're in the waiting room for 3, 4 fucking hours. My buddy Matt, that was on the fucking. Maybe I shouldn't call him out. Uh,
Too late.
they they were at the fucking ER last night for like 8 hours.
Yeah. Well, see
Like it's
the problem with American healthcare is that it is so expensive that going for preventative routine checkups and whatnot is
yeah.
so expensive that it's just like you just put it off. Like, yeah,
Until you absolutely
yeah,
have to go. Yeah.
right. And then, but then, like a good example is, well, like me and kidney stones. You've had kidney stones. You know what this is like.
One time
One
it was
time.
the worst.
But if you go to the doctor when you first start feeling the back pain, they can give you some medication that opens up the urinary tract, and does all the things that help it pass. Super simple, no big deal. But most times that medication
Yeah.
is not covered by insurance. So
Yeah.
so
No, and nothing preventative is. It's
right.
fucking crazy.
So what ends up happening is you just write it out, and then hoping that there's not a complication, and then all of a sudden it gets stuck in en route to your bladder, and it's not going to go anywhere. You're in excruciating pain,
Hmm.
and this pain always happens at like 11:30 or midnight. So now
Yeah.
you're off to the emergency room,
And then you pay
because you're
after hour
yeah.
pay that's more.
Right. And then you get there, and you're having an emergent problem. There's no doubt about that. But there's nothing they can do. They can give you some painkillers, and that's kind of it until the next day when,
Yeah.
you know,
You have to pass it anyways.
yeah,
At that point, it's
but
too late.
yeah, and you're not going to the ultrasound people that, or the ultrasonic, where they actually go in and they use the the sound waves to break it up and shit like that.
Yeah.
They ain't doing that, on an emergency call at midnight on a Saturday night. It's not happening. Your ass
No.
is waiting until Monday. So
Yeah.
there's so many people that are stuck in the emergency room system with issues like that. Yes, they're emergent, but they're not treatable outside of, well, we'll dope you up some painkillers and then you can see your doctor in the morning. That's it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and then you tell them that argument. You tell you know who we're talking about,
Oh,
Trump
absolutely.
supporters. You
Yeah.
tell them that argument, and then they say, "Okay, well, yeah, but when you need an actual procedure, you're gonna have to wait like 2 months."
Okay.
What?
It
Have you
happens
ever
here.
tried to make a doctor appointment
Yeah.
here? What the fuck are you talking about?
Eh,
It's literally the exact same, but it doesn't fucking bankrupt you when
Yeah.
someone in your family gets sick.
Well,
Like,
speaking of that, Dad had to have or he has to have another ultrasound of his carotid where they went in and they did the surgery. They cut it open and scooped out all the goop and whatnot because it was blocked. Okay,
yeah,
they did that surgery in April.
yeah,
We went and saw the surgeon in May, and he's like, okay, well, I want to do an ultrasound. Let's go ahead and get that scheduled. All right, so we didn't go see an ultrasound until July. It's two
yeah.
months, and then we went and saw him. Like, okay, everything looks really good. We'll address this again in 6 months.
Yeah, it's the exact same
It's the
thing.
same thing.
They've been brainwashed watching too much Fox News. They tell yeah, but you have to wait forever to find a doctor. By the way, Calgary has the highest amount of doctors per 100,000 people in Canada. That's another
There you go.
reason I wanted to be near Calgary. But yeah,
The wife and I have talked about it. Like we haven't we're not far enough along in the process as you are apparently.
yeah,
But
yeah. Well,
we
if
have genuinely talked about it. But I mean, the issue that we have is well, not really our issue. It's more my issue. My parents would lose their shit if
yeah,
we moved.
well,
So
we will be where we're at, like south of Calgary. We'll be about 12-hour drive
because that's
from where we're
still
at now.
that's basically due north of where you're at. Is that right? Am I
Yeah, and
okay?
I know Bunge is up. Bunge is in Alberta, but I can't remember exactly where. It's been a minute since I talked to him. I thought about freaking getting him on the podcast, and maybe we could talk about Canada versus America.
We should. I'd be okay with that.
Uh, oh, he'd definitely do it.
Yeah.
We can talk about how lucky he is. His wife's super hot. But I know he's in Alberta because he has the same time zone as me. But yeah, it's directly
Okay.
north. Like
That I thought
you,
so. I'm not the best on Canadian
yeah.
geography, but I'm
Like
okay. Better than most
like
Americans.
right now to go visit some of our family in Idaho. It's funny from where we're at in Calgary to here where we're at in Utah is a 12-hour drive. To go see our family in Idaho, it's also a 12-hour drive because the highway from here we literally go straight up.
Mm.
To go to the one in Idaho, there's only the one highway, so you have to come all the way down, and then when you're close enough, then you go west for a couple hours. So that's why it's still the same amount of driving because of the way that the highway works.
I
Instead of finishing the rest down, then you're going the same distance west.
Here I thought it was Kentucky was the only state that you can't get to from here. I tell people that because Kentucky borders Virginia, and
Yeah.
but the unless you want to take back roads, the only
The
like
highway doesn't go through it?
the highway goes through West Virginia first.
Oh,
You have to go up. You have to go north into West Virginia and then over into Kentucky. Otherwise, you're taking some backwoods, wrong turn, dirt roads to get there, and it is.
yeah.
You talk about deep in the heart of Appalachia. I mean, I love it. It's a very pretty place. Like landscape wise, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
People, they're
Mm,
good people, but I mean, there's significant socioeconomic and political and geopolitical differences
it's
between me and them.
yeah.
But
It's I totally forgot that Mystery was in Toronto too. I knew he was over east somewhere because hasn't he come down and visited you guys?
they came down to Cincinnati a few years ago, but me and Vamps have been talking. Vamps is getting married this
Where's he at?
he's in Niagara, which is
Oh, okay. So
just
it's
over the
close.
yeah he's just over the border from into Canada,
Yeah.
basically New York and then Canada,
He
but
lives on the falls?
he lives like right outside, like to my
Hey,
knowledge.
that's interesting.
Yeah, but there he's
That's
getting
that's
well he's
Canada's
getting
weird when you like look at a map, like the
well
way their cities are spread out. It's not like America where there's city, 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 city.
yeah. Well, I think my favorite piece of geography trivia when it comes to Canada is it's like 70% of the Canadian population lives further south than Detroit. Like Detroit, the way the border works, um,
Yeah, because it comes
yeah,
dips down over there.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. But the majority of the population lives further south than that,
I
and
think
I think
isn't
that's just
isn't
weird.
Toronto? I think either Toronto or Vancouver. I think Toronto though. I think Toronto's the biggest, highest population in Canada.
I believe it is because Vancouver's west. It's on your side of the
Yeah,
state,
Vancouver's like right above Seattle, just across the
right?
border.
Yep. Um, but no, Vamps is getting married next month,
Oh,
and we're supposed to go up there for the wedding. We were invited, but since Dad had his stroke and whatnot, I don't feel comfortable
leaving
leaving
that
and
far
being
away.
yeah being that far gone. So we just went down to North Carolina a couple of weeks ago, and it was only like a 3 hour drive. And even then, I was like,
Yeah,
it's only 3 hours, and if I'm in an emergency, I can do it in about two and a half.
yeah.
You
Well,
know,
that's the other thing. We thought about that, but like the only family we even visit is my wife's family, and even then, it's so far and in between. I mean, that's just the world we're in. It's so
right?
easy to communicate online.
Yeah,
It's so hard to drive, even though they're like 3.5 hours from us now. So we're just adding another, 8 hours onto that.
yeah. A day's either way, it's a day's drive.
Yeah, either way, it's a full day. I'm not coming back that same day. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
exactly.
So you're just getting up a little bit earlier and getting there a little bit later, and you're still probably going to spend the night there. You're not going
Yeah,
to make a day trip out of it.
if it's an absolute emergency, it's a 2 hour flight. Like
There you go. Yeah.
so, but the the healthcare stuff is one thing, but it'd be nice. My daughter's going to be going to school soon. I think we're putting her in preschool this year. Uh, she'll be like the youngest, smallest one because that's the other concern with her too. Is she's literally like the 1 percentile.
Hmm.
She's 4. She still fits in like 3T stuff. She's
Oh,
tiny.
she's little.
Yeah, she's like tiny, tiny. Like she's literally on the bottom of the chart, like for size and weight and everything.
Yeah.
And so like, and she just barely turned 4, so she can technically go to preschool. She's
Yeah.
already,
She
she'll be way young, way small.
she's a fall baby too, right?
A what?
But technically she's a fall baby. Yeah, so she's born kind of going towards the late summer into the fall, which makes it
Yeah, in August. So
which makes it really weird when you're trying to decide whether or not you want to put him into school or not. Do
yeah,
you
because they can either be younger than everyone or older than everyone.
yeah. And see, we did the same thing with Izzy, and Izzy's going to be we waited, and
Yeah.
she's going in, so she'll be the first one to get her driver's license and all that, and
Oh,
you know
she'll be the popular one.
oh, she already is. That's the part that drives me crazy, is
Yeah.
when we go to school events and whatnot, like all the kids are running up to her and giving her a hug and all
Is
this.
he?
She's the popular kid, and Heather and I were the furthest possible from the
Yeah.
the popular kids, and then she came to us. I think it was last year, and said that she wants to look into doing cheerleading.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, and you're in deep in your bones. You're like, I fucking hate cheerleaders.
Well, I remember when we had the twins, they did basketball for a couple of seasons,
Yeah.
and I wasn't a sports kid. I was a band nerd, but when it came time for the games, my ass was there in the front. My ass was the loudest. If I was screaming at the kids, and if they weren't embarrassed, then I wasn't doing something right. So I mean, I know if she decides to do cheerleading,
Yeah,
I'll
you'll
be
be
I'll
there.
be the dad in the front row doing the cheers because I've memorized them too, and I
Yeah,
mean,
you helped her practice.
yeah, I'll be there. I don't mind it. You know,
Yeah.
I can live the popular life vicariously through my daughter. You know,
See, that's what I'm assuming my daughter will be like. She's super outgoing, a lot like Izzy. Like everyone freaking loves her.
yeah,
Not like me. In high school, I was fucking on my calculator, sitting like by the wall by myself, hacking it so I could play Mario on my fucking
yeah. I
TI-83
just wanted to play. I had the blackjack game that you could do that, and
on the
then
calculator.
yeah, because I had that one. I had Snake. I had a couple of others, and I would charge like $10, and kids would be like, "Hey, can you put blackjack on my phone?" Or on my calculator, it'd be like, yeah, $10 because I had that little transfer cable that was like $30.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that I was
Yeah.
that kid.
Yeah, that's who I was too. I was the nerdy, like in art and fucking in band
Yep,
and like yeah.
yep. I was the band nerd through and through.
But back in our day, we didn't have to worry about fucking gun drills and fucking
Mm-mm.
safety rooms. That like that's the other thing
I
that like
I remember when Columbine happened. It was like 90, 98.
sounds right.
I think it was 98. And I remember coming home from school, and Columbine was, I think, 2 hours behind us. So I was already home from school as everything was happening, on television.
Yeah,
And I remember just sitting there watching it, and just I my brain didn't really process, what was going on. And then I remember, like, in the weeks and months after Columbine, when you had, oh, it's the video games, it's Marilyn Manson, and all of these things. And I'm like, and then it's later come out, it's like, no, did you actually, like, listen to your kids? Like, oh, I can't believe that he was like this. I was like, how did you not know the kid had pipe bombs in his fucking desk in his bedroom?
yeah.
How do you not know?
They just weren't ever paying
Yeah,
attention.
that the whole video games makes your children violent
Well,
is
that's been disproven by so many different studies.
well,
It's
and they
disproven
keep
by Penn and Teller on bullshit. A fucking reality TV show. They love watching reality TV so much they should watch. Penn
they
and Teller
they have
disproved it.
they're still, I mean, this it was one of the recent gun debates or violence debates in Congress. They were still, I mean, it was even the Democrats. It wasn't just the Republicans. It was literally both sides of the aisle, and both of them, well, I mean, it could be video games. I'm like, really?
No, it can't.
Like, not in the least.
The video games is not the problem. The problem is you can go into Walmart and get a gun.
Yeah,
The ease of access is the problem.
yeah. That
There were
is
there were still kids getting bullied in the 1700s, 1800s. Fucking nice jacket, wanker. Fucking.
yeah, yeah.
But then they would fight out by the flagpole. That was how things were settled until guns were easy to buy. And now the kids that would definitely lose if they went out and fought by the flagpole, he just goes, "Oh fuck it, I'll just bring a gun and shoot Tommy. I'm fucking tired of his ass."
Yeah. And that was, I mean, what gets me is they don't even, those that are complaining about it don't even remember the conversations that the survivors had after Columbine. There were kids that were in the library where everything really happened,
Yeah,
and they were going from, like, desk to desk, table to table in the library, like, pulling the chairs back, finding the kid under the desk, and shooting the kid right there, point blank, boom, dead. And then, it would be, this kid dies, this kid dies, this kid dies, and then he pulls the chair out, and it's this other kid, and this kid even said, like, you're okay, you were nice to me. And it's
yeah.
like,
That was the exact thing.
yeah, it's like, that's not video games. That's shitty parenting that allows
Yeah,
children to treat
there's
other children like shit.
yeah, there's no video game that teaches me how to fucking swat sweep a library for children.
No. Well, and there's no video game that,
That's
that teaches kids to bully like that. Now, granted, you
yeah.
could say there's some Xbox lobbies that could be make things
I feel
questionable.
like that would toughen some kids up if we brought it back.
But yeah, it was just, I mean,
It's always been a thing though. The
yeah,
the only thing that has changed is how easy it is to get a gun.
yeah,
Nothing has changed. Your grandparents got fucking made fun of in school and had that or they at least knew a bully.
yeah,
They would pick on kids. Maybe the words that they would say would be different.
yeah. But the actions were the same, and the intent was the same.
Yeah, it's always been the same. There's always been a power struggle among young adults.
Yeah.
You know, back in fucking Western days, they had fucking shootouts over disputes.
Hmm. Yeah, and what happened with that is they took away, they changed the laws to where you couldn't just run around with
Yeah.
guns all the time. Like,
Well,
they made laws against it.
look at Japan, look at Singapore, look at Sweden, look at the UK. Like, yeah, there's a lot of stabbings and stuff in the UK, but you never see the article where 47 children stabbed in elementary stabbing. Like it's one or two.
Well, that's a fair point, Rabble. But it's not a matter of the initial access to the gun. That's not where the problem is. It's not the fact that the kid can go and pick up a gun from wherever. It's the issue of the fact that
Well,
it's the secondary access that the kids are getting. It's the fact that the Sandy Hook shooter, she knew, or his mother knew that he was a problem, and she was like, well, I'll just put all her guns in a safe. The safe that she kept the key easily available for, or to, and he could get them. Like
yeah.
that's where the issue is. You're right. It is harder to purchase a gun
Eh,
as a child. It's
yeah,
easier to
as a
purchase it.
child.
But you know, comparing say Sears and Roebuck to Walmart. I can go to Walmart and get a gun in 1 to 3 days, depending on if there's a wait for whatever I'm buying.
Yeah,
Which
which is
really,
long enough to hold on to your hate for your bully.
but which really isn't that different from ordering a gun from a catalog.
Yeah.
But
Well, the other difference is not just how easy it is to get a gun.
yeah,
The other difference is how far guns have come. There's nobody fucking
yeah,
loading a musket in a school. Fucking don't run outside yet. Hold on.
yeah,
Like as
um,
opposed to 60 rounds a fucking
yeah,
minute. Like
right. I mean, the only thing,
that's the difference is being able to get military grade
yeah.
fucking
Well, and it's not just the military grade. Um, I was on campus during the Virginia Tech shooting, and
yeah.
the only reason why they killed him, the only reason why they killed him, is he had to reload. That's it. He had two pistols that he was using, and he had to stop long enough because he had one pistol in each hand, and he had to stop long enough, put one pistol away, drop the magazine out of it, and reload another one.
Yeah.
And it was in that moment that they were able to engage him, and
Yeah.
um,
Then they got him.
he ended up taking his own life. But I mean, that was the only reason why they were able to put him in that position.
That is a secondary issue, Rabble, which again comes to America is so profit driven that on Fox News they will say the shooter's name 10,000 times before you've heard a single victim's name.
And that's something I always think is weird, and it's not just the school shooters. I always think it's
Yeah.
really strange that, like, when you look at uh um when you look at like these really popular psychopaths or killers, they're always they use all three names. It's John Wilkes Booth, it's Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah.
Um, uh,
Yeah, the whole freaking name.
yeah,
Unless
it's
your
really
name sounds nice if you just say like Dahmer. But like
yeah. Uh, you know, but
yeah, it's weird they like freaking they kind of like they make it like erotic, like to be a fucking killer, and they make it fancy
yeah,
and like you're popular and you're gonna get a Netflix show about you and stuff. That doesn't help either.
there's you know,
When like
Rabble, you have a good point that these kids were more than likely just good old fashioned traditional psychopaths, and
oh yeah,
outside of the shooter in Aurora, who believed he was the Joker, and all of that. The majority of these kids that are, or not just kids, I mean these young adults that are committing these crimes, they're relatively stable kids, and
yeah,
then they are in a position where they have ease of access to a firearm, or in some cases, they have ease of access to not necessarily purchase the firearm, but it's not kept in a lockbox, it's not kept in a safe.
yeah,
Parents are taking a step up and going, "Hey, my kid's a little fucked up. Maybe I shouldn't have guns in the house."
yeah. The there's I mean there's multiple problems, but the guns are a big part of it. I seen a thing on TikTok. We haven't mentioned TikTok yet. A guy was talking about a recent bombing that killed like a couple people,
Hmm.
and a lot of people in the comments. So he made like a follow up video. Look, because a lot of people in the comments are like, "I'm so glad bombings don't happen more often." He's like, "You know how fucking hard it is to get a bomb, get the stuff,
Yeah.
make it. You're on so many fucking lists. They start checking you out, looking into you. What's going on? Fucking, you're on FBI fucking watch
Well,
list. Your phone
you'll
calls are checked. Your social media's looked at. Like,
you will never be able to buy the amount of fertilizer that Timothy McVeigh used without popping red flags. Like you just can't do that anymore because they immediately
Yeah.
recognized, hey, this is a problem. But realistically, the argument of, well, if they don't have a gun, they can use something else. Okay, my counter to that, and it's always annoyed me, is you can make a pretty effective bomb out of things under your sink.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be great. I mean, you might get one or two people, and you'll probably injure a few people. But I mean, it will. I mean, it'll do what you want it to do.
Yeah, but again,
But
you have to go through making it and
where
looking
yeah,
it up
that's
and
my
everything.
point.
Whereas
Is
opposed as to a gun, you just have it, you put the bullets in it, and
yeah,
you're ready to go.
right.
You have it.
And that's the difference. Oh well, what about knives? Okay, there was a mass stabbing in China like 15 years ago, where a guy was on a subway and he just started poking people, and he stabbed. It was like 35 or 40 people that he stabbed.
Yeah, before somebody stopped them.
Yeah, before number one, before somebody stopped him, but more importantly, no one died. 40
Well,
people
that's
were
the other
injured.
difference.
Yeah, 40 people were injured.
Yeah,
Yeah, and yeah, you're right. The bombs, they thought that they could blow up propane tanks, which propane doesn't blow up; it burns. It's a you
yeah.
know
That,
that's
they watch
beside the
King of
point.
the Hill or something.
Yeah, but and yeah, it didn't work. Which now, granted, if it had worked, had they actually knew what they were doing, if they would have if it would have worked the way they wanted to, yeah, it would have been mass carnage. Mass carnage. It was in the cafeteria during the where all the kids collect in the morning before they go to classes. It would have been 3, 4, 5 times the number of dead kids than what was already what happened. But once again, it didn't work.
Yeah,
You know, because guns are
guns are
way
guns
easier.
are guns aren't the only problem. They're probably the biggest piece of the puzzle. The other problem is again, to bring back to the health care. The healthcare in America
Yeah,
is so abysmal and shitty. Anytime you would need help, even to just see a psychologist, they're like, all right, it's $400 an hour.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. On your insurance doesn't cover it. Oh
yeah,
wait, but oh
insurance
wait,
doesn't cover it.
but your insurance covers this one. You can go to this therapist that's
Yeah,
six
the
and a
guy
half
that
hours
doesn't care.
away, or yeah, or that. Well, and see, and that, but the guns aren't the problem per se. Guns are they're like the enabler.
Yeah,
The
well,
guns allow you to do what you want to do more effectively than any other tool at your disposal.
yeah,
Disposal.
that's what I was gonna say. They're the tool, and unfortunately, they're very efficient tools.
Well, that's what they're designed to do. You
Yeah,
know,
well, we have so many other problems in America that are, accentuating, making the problem much worse. But it doesn't help that we have so many of those other problems that a lot of countries don't will deal with. But then on top of that, we have a super ease of access to a wonderful tool that can do whatever you
yeah,
want.
yeah. And they have raised the age limit for handguns. At least I can't speak on a
I,
federal level, but I know in Virginia you
I
can't
think
buy.
it's
It's
yeah, I
21,
think
and
it's by state.
yeah, in Virginia you can't buy a handgun until you're over the age of 21.
I think
But
in Utah it's 18. Yeah,
yeah,
it's 18.
everything else in Virginia is 18. And here in Virginia you can walk into Walmart and purchase your gun and be out in a couple hours. I
Well,
went.
even if you didn't purchase it, I don't know how your Walmarts are. Hammers are about 5 aisles down from where the guns are.
Yeah, it's about
The
right.
guns the guns are locked behind like the glass case. I don't know if it's glass or plexiglass,
I think it's probably glass, but yeah, point made.
but either way, the little locks on it are pretty cheap. I can take the hammer to it. I'm in the lock.
Yeah,
Now the guns are right there. The ammo is right there. I don't know how yours is.
yeah,
Their
that's
ammo
yeah,
is behind the counter near the guns.
yep,
So if I wanted to, I could grab the hammer, get the gun, get the ammo. I'm ready to go.
yeah. Well, I think, well, when we moved here into this house, we had, I don't know, we had an issue where, uh, the hospital is about 10 minutes from where we live, and there was an incident with someone had gotten arrested and taken to the hospital for treatment, and he escaped out of the hospital. He was on foot for 20, 30 minutes, not even long enough to get to where I live, but he did make it out.
Yeah.
So I was like, I mean, I am a supporter of the Second Amendment, and I am a gun owner, and so I went to, um, I went around to some different places and was looking for guns. Um, I wanted a 20 gauge is what I wanted. I didn't need anything too crazy. A 20 gauge would do everything I wanted it to do, and I couldn't find one that wasn't like $700. So I went by this pawn shop that was down from where I work, and I went in and I told him like I'm looking for a I call them bedside shotguns. The gun that you keep by the bedside or behind the that's ready to go if you ever need it. I don't keep it loaded. I keep a lock on it and I do all the things you're supposed to do. But it's right
Yeah.
there. I can get to it. I can be ready to go in less than 30
Mhm.
seconds.
Yeah. 15, 20 seconds,
Right.
you're ready.
And so I told him what I was looking for, told him what I was needing it for, and the guy's like, "Hey, I got this." They bought them. They bought them brand new from the manufacturer. He says these are brand new, still in the box, $150. I'm like, $150 for it was a 12 gauge pump shotgun. I'm like,
Wow.
fuck, like that's a good deal. So I
Yeah,
did some.
he bought them from
Well,
the
no, they
manufacturer.
were still all in their boxes and wrapped up.
Yeah.
I've never bought a brand new gun before. Like I've gone to gun shows and trade shows stuff like that, and bought secondhand guns, which is a thing of and a whole nother issue. But I went in and bought this gun legally, and he goes, well, we have to do a background check. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, here's my cell phone number. Call me and I'll come back tomorrow and get it. And he's like, well, you can wait if you want. What do you mean?
What what is
Wait.
he? Is there a Carfax for
I said,
people? You
yeah,
just
apparently, because I purchased the firearm. I purchased the shotgun. They did my background check, and I was back at my house in less than 30 minutes.
yeah.
So for in less than an hour, I had access to a firearm for $150. You know,
Yeah.
Granted, ammo's a little
Luckily,
expensive, but
yeah.
you know,
Luckily, most people aren't fucking crazy because it could be a
right.
much bigger problem.
Right. Well, and see, and my thing is I want everybody to own any gun they want to own. I genuinely do. Like not even joking. This is where I skew to the right of of most of the socialists. Um, but I want people to take a test. If I have to take a test to operate a car, I have to prove um I have to prove that I am competent in driving a car. I really want to see the same thing with firearms. You have to take a test. Take it same
Yeah.
day. You show competency in not just shooting, but things like you got to take a written test of like how to properly store the ammo, how to store the gun, how to take the gun apart, how to clean it. How to maintain the firearm. Um, I want all of that. I would even like to go as far as some type of insurance, but then I could see that becoming cost prohibitive because of insurance and whatnot. But the reason why our healthcare industry is so convoluted and a pain in the ass to deal with is because of the health insurance. So if we brought
Yeah.
that type of asinine bullshit to the gun industry, fewer just like now, not a lot of people have healthcare because of insurance being stupid. Fewer people would have guns because the gun insurance would probably be stupid. But yeah, I just want accountability. That's it.
Yeah.
I want accountability. And yes, you're right.
Well, the
90
problem is there's no perfect system.
no, there isn't. But the system that we have right now could be made better.
Oh yeah, it could be
You know,
way better.
because my
Yeah.
argument for this has always been, I there is no way for us to prevent all gun deaths. It's impossible. Anybody that
Yeah.
thinks you can is full of shit. But if we can put rules in place to save one kid, any rule is good.
Yeah.
You know, if you could have been in, if there had been more, if there had been more oversight with the Sandy Hook shooter, when his mother knew there was a problem, and the social workers, the caseworkers, the therapists, all the people that knew he was a danger, knew she had guns in the house. Had there been a system to go, maybe you shouldn't have guns in the house around this dude.
Yeah.
You could have potentially. I'm not saying it would have happened. He might have found another way to get the gun. But, just because, well, they can always get access, they'll find a way. I just want to make it a little bit harder for them.
Yeah, but if it's a
That's
little
it.
bit harder, I saw a
That's really
thing
it.
on TikTok. So this guy was talking about how he was showing a video of him putting a key under his mat at his house,
Uh huh.
And this kind of ties into this. So he's put a key under his mat, and he's like, "Yeah, I just leave it there. I leave it pretty open. Any burglar, whatever, anybody can find it." And he like pauses for a second. He's like, "Yeah, it doesn't go to my house. I don't know what the fuck it goes to." He's like, I leave it there so they'll kind of flip the carpet and they'll get excited and they'll try it. And he's like, I like to think in that moment where they're like, oh, it didn't work. He's like, I like to think that maybe they go, what am I doing? I try to give him an extra moment of reflection.
Yeah. Well, I
Oh
get that.
wow, oh wait a minute, what am I doing? So, I I don't know if that does, but I feel like if I can buy a shotgun for 150 bucks at a pawn shop in 30 minutes, I'm still gonna be steaming mad.
Oh
I'm gonna
yeah.
be upset
Oh
about
yeah.
what I'm upset about. If I have to wait 3 fucking weeks and take a fucking written test and fucking go down and put my thumbprints on a thing and
Well,
now technically people that
you
are
hope you're going to
having
calm back down.
yeah,
Well, here,
most normal people would definitely if you have mental issues you might 3
right.
years later would make no difference, but
Well, but here's my caveat to this, and this is where I like to. This is where I can kind of bring more of the crazy gun nuts back into my agreements with me. Is if you take the test and you prove you're competent and you have all the documentation, you've taken everything that I think needs to be done, and you do all of it. Number one, it should be free. Oh, excuse me. It should be free. But if you take all of those competency tests and you do all your stuff, any gun you want. You want an Uzi, you want a Tommy gun, you want a
yeah.
fucking saw, whatever. If you want a pistol or a BAR, doesn't matter. You have shown competency in how to use it and maintain it, and you're reasonably not going to kill somebody with it. Then own whatever you want. I mean, there's a 6 month waiting list to get a license for a silencer in Virginia. Or not a
Yeah,
silencer, a
it's like that.
suppressor.
It's like that. I think it's a year in Utah
Yeah,
for a silencer.
yeah. So I mean, it's crazy, but
I think they also limit silencers that you can get in Utah. I think you're limited how many you can even
yeah,
get,
yeah.
how
Well,
many you can
I,
apply
I
for.
think I think in Virginia there's. I had a friend of mine that was going through the process of buying one for his AR, and the way it was described to me is that um, there's an adapter that can let you screw that suppressor into various different types of guns, and that's what you can't have. So if you want to buy a suppressor for this weapon, you have to wait the time to get it, and then if you want another one, you have to wait the time to get it. You can't just have something interchangeable. Now, granted, today in this day and age with machine shops and whatnot, you could probably make and machine what you want, but you know the it is what it is. You can only do so much. But
Yeah,
well, I
at
agree.
least
I agree, Robbie.
the I think the biggest problem is they just do nothing. Oh, another 20 kids are dead. All right. Anyways,
Yeah, yeah.
that's what's most upsetting. So yeah, that's not the only reason we're even thinking about moving to. It's kind of a combination of like everything. We also like the entire world economy kind of fucking
Sucks.
struggled during the pandemic, and everyone's fucking the dragons. We've talked about them several times. Everyone's hoarding like fucking crazy everywhere. It's not just
Right.
an American thing. But it seems like a lot of other countries, Canada being one of them, it seems like they're already starting to get better. They're improving.
I understand.
And it feels like America's not. It feels like we're in for a rough 10 years of just getting worse, worse, worse
Well,
until something finally hits ahead and
here's
hopefully turns around.
here is my take on this. If if you look and if you look at this by the numbers, and the numbers aren't always the best way of looking at the economy, but we have completely recovered from the losses of COVID. Our unemployment is at the lowest that it's been in a generation. Um, you have all of this. There's people spending money. The thing is, they have to. It's not that they're choosing not to. They have to spend the money. But
Yeah.
we're back to pre-COVID standards or better. But still you have all of these people that they can't afford to live. They're working full time, 40, 50, 60 hours a week, and they're
Yeah,
still on
multiple jobs
and
sometimes.
they're still on welfare. And you have and the Walmart's the big one. The Walmart ones that just piss me off is
Yeah.
we give Walmart millions and millions of dollars in subsidies, tax subsidies for them.
Hmm.
And then so we're giving them corporate welfare. We're giving them money, government money, taxpayer money. And then we're turning around and having to give more money to the employee and to their employees because the money that we're giving the corporation is not going to the employees to keep them going.
No, you know what? I
It's
saw a
such a
TikTok.
problem. You saw TikTok. God damn.
I actually did see a TikTok. So a guy broke down the numbers of Walmart specifically. You reminded me. Thanks for bringing it up. I see so many TikToks.
Yeah, same.
He broke the numbers down. I'm saying, all right, let's imagine. And he pulled up the numbers for Walmart, how much they make and how many employees they have. And he's like, all right, let's say Walmart across the board is going to give everyone. And he was first going to do it across everything. And then he's like, let's simplify the numbers. We'll just do America. Everyone in America, they're going to give $25 an hour minimum. And then he broke the numbers down. I was like, all right, let's look at just Walmart superstores, just the big ones. They're going to cover the cost. None of the other Walmarts. So he looked at the numbers of how many of those superstores there are. Then he looked at the numbers of how many average products they sell and they have and whatnot. So basically, to bring it all around, I could find the TikTok, but for them to cover the cost of raising all their employees to $25 an hour, they would have to raise all their products by about 10 cents.
Yep.
That would fully cover the cost. The problem is every time they raise, which they've been raising prices, everyone's raising prices everywhere. The problem
Yeah.
is nothing goes to employees, everything goes to investors and the
Yeah.
billionaires.
Well, you hear it all the time that the corporations are doing great. The stock market is the highest it's ever been. Corporate profits are through the roof. Yeah, but all of your employees are on welfare.
Yeah.
There's a problem there. When you look at the CEO or the CEOs, the board, the Walton family of Walmart,
Hmm.
if if you were to pay yourself $1,000 an hour, okay, $1,000 an hour for 40 hours a week, 5 days a week, it would take you over 1,000 years to
Yeah. To get,
equal what they're making.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I
They're
don't.
making, on average, I think the average is like 900 times. CEOs are
Yeah,
making
900
900
times.
times. And that's the average. There's some that are making way more. And there's some that are making less too. Those poor guys are only making like 300 times than their bottom employee.
I
But
just I,
it's so much higher than it was in like the 50s. I think it was like 40, 50, 60 times more than, your employees
yeah,
as a CEO.
and then in the 1950s, the highest effective tax rate, the highest tax bracket in the 1950s was 90% over $1 million.
Yeah.
The the,
Which,
the 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 first dollar after 1 million was taxed at 90%, and we had a huge thriving middle class. Everybody had a Cadillac in their front, or a Chevy. They probably had a Chevrolet in their front yard. They
yeah.
had a GE washer and dryer. They had a refrigerator, and they had a
Where you had a home you could buy for $18,000.
yeah, yeah, and then everything and all of that, all of these nice amenities, and a nice home that you purchased, and you're doing it on one income, because
Yeah.
the wife stays at home.
Yeah.
You
But
know,
the most shocking thing is and we've talked about this so many times. We'll move on here in a second, but the most
yeah.
shocking thing is them just bragging about it.
Oh yeah,
We're doing so well. And they literally haven't raised anything other than their own wages.
yeah. You're
Like,
exactly right. And
and
they
they just continue to get away with it because all of us are too broke to do anything about it. We all have to go to work to pay rent. We can't.
well,
We're stuck. We can't go fucking form a picket line and go sit down at the bottom of Trump Tower and throw eggs at his window. We can't afford to do it.
you got time. You know,
Yeah.
we haven't talked about this yet, so I'm going to segue into it.
Okay.
You know, that's why I think that I'm sure you've been following the news about the congressional hearing concerning aliens. Have you been?
Yeah.
You've been okay.
Well, do you know why? You might not have even heard. I seen a TikTok. Do you know why the conspiracy theorists? Do you know why they're target?
I have.
You know Sam Bankman Fried, right?
Mm-hmm.
The
Oh
whole FTX bullshit.
yeah.
Yeah, he got let go. He's fine. No charges.
Oh, you think that's what it is? That's honestly that's better than mine.
The charges got dropped.
Oh no, I'm saying you're saying that there this is a distraction, so we're not talking about the SBM
Well, yeah,
or
that's
SBF
one of
SBF.
them. Yeah, that. Well, I don't think they. I don't think they released it because of that. I think the. I think a whole bunch of people that are good at seeing opportunities. That's why they are where they are. Uh, yeah, I think they chose this time to release him and drop charges because of that.
Well, I think, and this is my conspiracy theory.
Okay.
Um, I think that they're disclosing all of this information because something big is happening. Something big, like where I was going with this, and then I'll swing back into it. Is we're too busy working 50 hours a week trying not to die from lack of health care or gunfire or anything else going on in the United States that we haven't been able to process what is literally the biggest announcement in the history of humanity. Our
Yeah, nobody said anything about it.
it's
Everyone's too focused on making fun of Mitch McConnell.
yeah, you know, I my TikToks that I've been watching about this, everybody in the chat have all been saying the same thing. Like, well, how does this affect my student loans?
Yeah.
And that's it's really that. I mean, that's really fitting because here you have something that, and like I said, this is the biggest announcement ever in the history of humanity. We are
Hmm.
not alone. They have been visiting us for decades. We've
Which we already all
which we all
knew.
knew. But
Yeah.
here we have the government finally coming out and going, yeah, it was never a weather balloon. It wasn't a gas pocket that reflected the light of Venus.
Yeah.
You
The
know
Men in Black is real.
that Men in Black are real, and that we have this technology. We've been fucking with it for years. Um, that
Everyone
the
that owns a pawn shop and hawks $150 shotguns is an alien.
yeah, but and that's we're not paying attention to it, and
Yeah.
I think this is why. But coming back to it, I believe that letting us know that aliens are real,
Something's coming.
something's coming, and I hate
Yeah.
to be that person because for before this it'd been like, oh, you're just a fucking crazy conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
All these people that have been screaming this for years are now
I,
justified in saying, look, I know what I saw, I know what I experienced. This
I think I
shit's
follow the
real.
guy. I follow the guy on TikTok that I saw. A TikTok that I seen. He made a graph. It said, "Do I still have to go to work? Yes or no?"
Yeah.
If the reason is no, he's like, "All right, then do I still have to pay rent? Yes or no?" If the reason is no, then he's like, "All right, then it matters." So if he still has to go to work or still has to pay rent, he's like, "I don't give a fuck. The only way I care is if I no longer have to go to work and no longer have to pay rent. Something big actually happened, then I'll care."
The the Florida state, this is Florida, I know, but the Florida State Weather Services, when they discuss like the severity of how bad weather's going to be in Florida, they also
Yeah.
they also gauge it on, will this weather shut down Waffle House? And it sounds absurd when you say it like this, but unless there is a Hurricane Katrina level event happening, your ass has still got to go to work at Waffle House.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know,
Like that. Yeah. So that's why most of us don't care because our generation is like, yeah, that's nice.
yeah,
We already knew.
yeah. Well,
I did.
it's because the
You.
millennials have we've
We've
never
been through
had
it all.
we've never had
We.
normalcy. We
Yeah.
we we came of
We
our
were in third grade when 9/11 happened. We're like,
well, I mean, not just that, but I mean, all of the major happenings of the last 30 years have been enduring. Like, huge events have happened, under our watch. We remember, you remember how crazy things were for Y2K.
yeah,
It was like, I knew a lot of people, and my family included, that were prepping. Like, this is,
they're so funny because that was literally a computer programming thing. Did you know that's going to come up again? We're going to run into the exact same issue. I think it's in July of 2057, we're gonna hit
Wouldn't surprise me.
a similar memory issue because the way that computers calculate time when Y2K was coming around, it was going to cause an issue in a bunch of computer systems. And it wouldn't be able to roll to 2000s because it would go roll past the way we were handling memory.
Hmm.
And so everyone everywhere thought it would go to 1900 and then a bunch of shit would crash and it would be a nightmare. All our, computer systems crash. Yeah, now we're coming up. It's going to happen again.
Yeah. Once again,
To
here's another huge issue that our generation will have to deal with, and it was
2038. Sorry, it's way sooner than I thought.
so you had Y2K, you had um, you had 9/11, and then you had some huge school shootings. Virginia Tech
Yeah,
happened, Sandy Hook happened, the Aurora shooting. You had all of these incidents happening.
yeah.
And you go back before Y2K, and
Yeah, then you have the Iraqi fucking war going on.
yep,
Then you have the 2008 fucking economy housing crash.
yeah. Well, you
Like,
can even go back before that, and you look at the Bush Gore election was completely unprecedented. The first time in American history did the popular vote winner didn't win the election.
what happens if you're the ADHD brain?
Okay,
What happens if you're Spanish and you type in Gore E Bush?
I
Because
it's better that we don't.
what happens if you type that in Google? Because why the E that stands for and Gore E Bush? Let's see what type.
Mm. While you're at it, go ahead and type meat spin in while you're at it.
Oh, Meatspin, what a wonderful website. See that's the kind of stuff
Yeah,
we had to keep ourselves sane. Is like, bro,
yeah.
you see Meatspin?
Lemon
It's
Party,
fucking
Encyclopedia Dramatica, Faces of
they
Death.
show you how to they'll show you how to do the fucking Halo 2 super jumps on meat spin.
But I mean, you had all of these huge incidents that were happening, and it was like, how many once in a lifetime events have we lived through? Like
Yeah.
it's hard to count.
We
And
were there for the creation of YouTube and live leaks. We seen people get beheaded and fucking
I I remember being in high school watching the Iraqi beheadings
yeah.
and
The
on
one that
public
shocked me
schools,
more than that,
public school computers, mind you.
yeah, because they didn't have they didn't know computers yet. The one that shocked me the most, I seen the beheading, probably the same one that a lot of us have seen.
The beheading, yeah.
The one that shocked me the most is I seen a suicide, and I
They're
don't even know if it's real, but it was literally you got to watch like their death struggles and them. They hung themselves in the bathroom, and like
mm,
you watched them shake and then stop shaking, and then they just hung there, and like the video just kept going, and you're like, what the? Oh,
the
okay.
one that got me happened about 10 or 12 years ago, and it was a guy, he was live streaming, and his girlfriend left him, he was facing financial problems, like all of the things that would be bad.
Yeah. And then he
And
sat on a jar.
yeah, that. No, but he was talking about committing suicide on the live stream, and people were calling the cops and be like, "Hey, this guy's talking about this. You need to get there. You need to try to do something about it." And while he's going through this, you hear, the cops beating on the door. Hey, let us in. Don't do this. All the things that you say, and then he pulls out the shotgun and puts it in his mouth, pulls the trigger, boom, everything, and I remember that the very like the 2 or 3 seconds later, you hear the door get busted in, and
Yeah.
like the cops come into the room, and all of them are like, fuck, it's like we didn't get here in time. And I think that was the one that messed me up the most because and it
Mm.
wasn't because the guy committed suicide. It was this guy was 10 seconds from getting some kind of help.
Yeah.
10 more seconds, and he might have been able to be talked off the ledge. You know, but yeah, these are all the things that we saw, and it was just easy
Yeah. We've
access to
grown
it.
up with the crazy
Yeah,
shit. But
you know,
my wife and I were talking about it, like how things keep getting worse and this and that. And you know, everything's gonna get better when, and how many times have we said this? When this generation dies off, the old people, the fucking boomers
yeah.
that had lead poisoning and they're fucking paint in schools and shit. Like,
I believe in my heart of hearts, my very core, I
Yeah,
believe that that is the problem with that generation. I do.
yeah,
Um, because if you look at a lot of the attitude, you look at a lot of the behavior from a lot of these people that get like that are angry like that. It's the same.
yeah.
It's the
It's
same
gotta be.
symptoms as lead poisoning.
You know what's fucking wild and crazy? There's one guy that literally changed the course of the entire world of history. There's one single guy that invented. He was the inventor that came up with putting lead in gasoline
Mm,
because it smoothed out the burning of gasoline,
yeah.
and then everyone's seen how effective it was, right? And hold on, let me get there. That one invention alone pretty much changed where we're at. It gave all the boomers lead poisoning. They're all fucking crazy now. They make ridiculous laws. You've seen the videos of the ones that are literally don't even know they're in a fucking hearing. They're fucking
Oh,
sitting in the house and
oh,
oh,
fuck.
oh,
What's her
what am
name?
I voting for?
Um,
Yeah, you've seen her, lizard lady. I don't know what her fucking name
oh,
is.
Diane Feinstein.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, so
she's got to
he
go.
invented
Her
that.
and Mitch McConnell both.
He invented that and fucked up all kinds of people. And then you want to know what his next big invention was?
Hmm.
CFCs, putting
Wow,
those into fucking cans.
this guy was a piece of shit.
Yeah, this one single guy.
Yeah, forget
So
Oppenheimer.
so then he fucking ruined our atmosphere because they were using it for years before they started to notice the effects of it.
Hmm.
We're still trying to recover from the effects of it. Like both of his inventions. He invented other things too. You want to know another thing he invented that actually he killed himself with? He invented a lift that would help you lift like elderly or like people that were bedridden. He invented a lift. He invented the bed lift that would help people get out. Well, he used because he so wanted to prove like his inventions and stuff. Like CFCs, he drank like CFCs and went, see, they're not even dangerous. Well, he got cancer later on. And
Shocking.
so he was bedridden and he was using one of those bed lifts to get him out of his bed. And it messed up and it strangled him. And somebody discovered him like 4 hours later. So he killed a bunch of people, killed our planet, fucked over our economy and everybody in the whole world, and then fucking killed himself with his own invention. Great fucking guy.
Oh, that's great. Well, I mean, but no, you're right. But no, I believe it's lead. I believe it's lead.
Thomas Midgley or Midgley, that's his name. Look him up and watch the fucking insane story of the one inventor that literally changed the course of history. Like
Speaking of that, I watched Oppenheimer since the last episode.
you didn't see Barbie?
Well, we haven't seen Barbie yet.
Oh,
You know,
my
we were
wife's seen it and said it wasn't what she thought it was going to be, but it was still okay.
well,
Barbie, not Oppenheimer.
yeah. Oppenheimer was great. I really
Yeah,
enjoyed it. I wanted to.
I'm iffy on it because I'm Einstein's another one that you could say might have fucked up because of something he invented. But I'm a huge I think Einstein was a misunderstood genius. And it's
Yeah.
unfortunate that he helped create such a devastating bomb. But so I'm iffy on it. I don't want to
Well,
watch it and
I
have it fuck up my I like Einstein. I don't want that. I don't want
well
that
it,
changed.
it well it only brushed on Einstein a little bit because he didn't he wasn't he wasn't the core of the story. Um,
Yeah.
but you know you know his character is in the story, and you know he was a consultant to Oppenheimer, and you know he had Oppenheimer had Einstein look at or Einstein have a lot of
I
his
think
numbers.
they disagreed on a lot of stuff in
Yeah.
real life. I don't know how
Well,
it covers it in the movie, but
I think if I remember correctly, I think Einstein was in the camp of the
Einstein didn't want to make
no,
shit.
he didn't want to do it. If I remember correctly, he was in the camp of, you know, the chain reaction that the splitting of the atoms is going to have may not
Mm,
stop. Like it could
yeah.
literally continue on to the point of, you know, destroying the entire planet with this chain reaction, and that's addressed in the movie. And they're like, you know, there's a chance. It's a really small chance,
But
But
let's see.
as physicists, like there it is a chance.
We talked
You
to
know,
this inventor buddy of ours, and he put lead in gasoline, and I really trust that guy. So we're gonna do it.
but yeah, Philk is right, and it's basically this is basically what the movie is about. Is Oppenheimer was all about. Everybody loved Oppenheimer
Yeah.
up until he realized
How
he
destructive his
well,
invention
it
was.
was the Ian Malcolm effect. We spent all this time thinking about whether we could. We never stopped to think about whether we should.
Yeah.
That's literally the whole movie is his
Oh,
realization of like
the
I fucked up. But
I probably will see it
it
though,
was
because I
good. It
really,
was
I
really good.
really respect Nolan.
Yeah.
He's come out in support like hugely. Like, yeah, studios absolutely need to. He's like, I've shut down all my stuff. I'm
Yep.
not doing anything until they agree. Like, and I really fucking respect that. I respect him as a person, and so I might see it just because of
It's
that.
I have I wanted to see it because they said they were doing no CG. Everything was 100% practical effects. And we've
That's
talked
not true. I have VX. I have VFX buddies that have worked on the movie.
but
There's a whole thing on Twitter of
yeah,
arguments of what's VFX versus CG versus.
right. Right. Well, yeah, visual effects and CG there's differences yada. We can go back and forth whatever. But
Yeah,
that's the whole reason I wanted to watch it cuz I love practical effects. Like
yeah. Well, we've
that's
been hearing about it for like fucking
yeah.
what, like a year and a half that he set off a fucking mini nuke
Yeah.
for the movie.
Yeah, it
Like,
was amazing. That scene was the whole scene why I wanted to go see it.
oh yeah,
And
no, Nolan did. Rabble. He set off a mini nuke for the movie. Been talking about it for like
yeah,
a year and a
it
half
was a
when he did it.
huge bomb, and it did. And now, granted, you're right. They did do a lot of visual effects. They did a lot of angle shooting and
Yeah.
shooting up to make it look bigger and taller. And yeah, of course they
Well,
did all that.
even the actual explosion, 'cause I have buddies that worked on it. The explosion was enhanced by computer graphics.
Mm,
It mostly was real, but it wasn't like just I don't know. It's a weird thing in
right.
film industry lately, and like, oh, no CG, go see it. The same thing was said like about Barbie, and then you see like, oh, Barbie has like no CG, and then you see like screenshots of Ryan Reynolds and them in like the car, and there's a blue screen behind him, and they're like, yeah, what's that then?
Well, I like I said, I really liked. I wanted to see it because of the cinematography. That's the main reason why I
Yeah,
wanted to see it. And I knew a little bit about Oppenheimer, and because I mean I'm a history nerd. I didn't know. I didn't
I don't know
realize that
that much about him, but
well, I thought I knew enough about him, and I didn't realize that he had pseudo connections to the Communist Party. He wasn't a communist, but he had friends that were communist members. And the thing is, and we talk about communism now versus communism back then. There was it's different. There was people that were like it wasn't common, but it was somewhat common to hear people say, "Oh yeah, I'm a member of the Communist Party." You
yeah.
know, it's just it's no different than I'm a Democrat or I'm a Republican. I'm a member of the Green Party. You know,
That's why I don't claim anything because
but
I just rather say I don't. I'm looking up because I was curious. I wanted to see if Barbie beat Oppenheimer
I
in
don't
the
think it
box
had. Yeah,
office.
I don't think it has. But I know
Mm,
the two of them combined has
oh, they're over $1 billion
yeah it was crazy
combined.
crazy figures that they were putting out together.
Well, there's
Um,
been nothing that's come out, and now
yeah,
we're
that.
gonna be in it because of the writer's strike. There's gonna be again nothing coming out for a long time, but
But
I I I,
if
I don't mind whatever.
if you like history and a really good visual cinematic movie,
Yeah. Well,
Oppenheimer
that
was really really good.
that might be one of those movies too that if I want to see it, I probably should see it in theater because it won't
Yes,
it won't be the same on my TV.
yes, yes. We went and saw it in the
Did you
great.
see it in IMAX or
No, the
the vibrating seats or whatever?
yeah, it was the other one. It was the RPX or whatever. It was like the great value version of IMAX.
Yeah.
The IMAX theater that we have here locally, they're no longer IMAX. They're now this RPX or RTX or whatever the fuck it is. And
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I was seeing the
still
same thing, Phil.
it
It
was
looks like Barbie beat Oppenheimer in the box office.
um, it was really good. I mean, the explosions were amazing, and I love. I mean, I don't want to spoil really anything, but there were times where you were expecting explosions, and
Yeah.
and then you had to be like, oh yeah, blast waves, sound travels, you have to wait for that, and then all of a sudden it hits you, and it's exactly like it's what you wanted it to be, and it's going
Yeah,
to win.
I might have to go see.
It's going,
It'll definitely
yeah,
win a
it'll
bunch of like
win hundreds of, yeah,
cinematographies type stuff.
it'll win cinematography and visual effects and direction and story. I mean, yeah, and what's his face that played Oppenheimer? Um, he did
Barbie beat Across the Spider Verse and Oppenheimer this last weekend.
really.
Yeah.
Jesus. But I mean, I do want to go see Barbie because the more I've heard like little things about the way they're telling the story, how like Barbie's walking out of the dream house and she floats down the steps to get in her car, and that's because no kid makes Barbie walk down the steps. You bring Barbie out of the dollhouse and then you put
Yeah.
her in the car. And I was like, that's really funny storytelling.
I want to see it because what's her nuts?
Margot Robbie,
No, no, no,
because that's the only real reason to go see it. Because
no. The chick that she's probably
sweet
only in it for
Jesus,
like 2 minutes.
well that would be me.
She's Kate McKinnon.
Oh yeah, got you.
She's fucking hilarious, and I seen like a short clip of the character she plays in Barbie, and I'm like, all right, that's kind of funny.
I like Margot Robbie. I
I don't
still
know.
haven't watched Wolf of Wall Street. I need to do that because,
Oh,
damn.
Wolf of Wall Street's amazing.
Yeah, I need
I've
to.
seen that a few times.
It's another. It's I know it's another performance that Leo should have won an award for, and it took him getting killed by or eaten by a bear to finally get fucking.
That one
You know,
movie sucked. How did
I
he
didn't
win for
like it.
that one, dude?
Yeah,
No, I didn't even finish it.
yeah, I didn't like it. It was like that. That's it. That's the one.
That's the one? Yeah,
Yeah,
what the
that's the
fuck?
one.
He's
There's
done
so many
the
other
amount of
ones.
shit that he's done, and you're like, that's the one.
Yeah,
The one that nobody fucking watched. That makes sense, actually, now that I think about it. The people that pick the awards are stupid
yeah.
as fuck.
What's Eating Gilbert Grape should have been the first time he won an award.
Yeah, you should have.
He should have won it for that one. And oh, and Django. Those are the two, in my opinion, are the two movies that he should have won awards for
Yeah.
because his performance in Django was
Oh, over the top. He fucking
so good, so
he cut
good.
his hand on the fucking
And
champagne
smeared it all
glass.
over what Carrie White, I think that's her name, smeared it all over her face. She
That
didn't.
should have won it for him right there.
Yeah, she didn't. She, I mean, it wasn't scripted, and she wasn't expecting it. So her
Yeah.
reaction to the
He
face
kept saying the
smearing,
N word, and
yeah,
it wasn't even scripted. Like,
yeah. Well, there's a comedian that talks about that. For you to tell a really good story about American slavery, you have to have a white actor saying and doing really heinous shit,
yeah.
and that's what he did. And he didn't just drop
I think they were too scared to give him an award for that because they
yeah,
were too scared of the movie, and I feel like there's a bias towards Quentin in Hollywood.
yeah,
Everyone
probably.
pretends he makes good stuff, but I feel like nobody actually likes him.
Well, he is weird.
Yeah, he's weird as
But
fuck. I mean,
the comedian, he goes on is talking about how Leonardo DiCaprio, called Jamie Foxx the N word to his face. Like they didn't
yeah,
CG him in. He was sitting there, and he says, and he did it in front of Samuel L. Jackson.
yeah, and the cameras weren't even rolling.
But I loved it. Django is one of my favorite movies. It
Oh,
is
Django's up there in my top 20 movies that
that's
I'll watch again and again.
that's one of the movies. I have a series of movies that I will watch when I don't feel good.
Yeah,
And
that's one of them.
yeah, and for some reason, most of my don't feel good movies are war movies. Like We Were Soldiers, I only watch that when I'm sick. I don't know why. It's just if Heather comes home from work and I'm laying in bed watching We Were Soldiers, she knows I'm
She
sick.
knows.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is. It's just I do. It's like a comfort movie. But Django's the other one. I watch Django at night after the kids have gone to bed because of um, oh yeah, yeah. Samuel L. Jackson was like, you have to do this. You have to say it. You have to be that
Yeah.
person.
Say it, motherfucker.
And I just I love Django. And the scene that always cracks me up is when they're getting ready to the Klansmen are going to go and try to kill him after he shows up on the plantation, and they're all trying to wear their burlap sacks, and the guy's like, hang
Yeah.
on, I'm fucking with my eye holes. God, that
I
is
can't see shit.
that is my favorite. That's one of my favorite scenes in maybe all of cinema history. is that whole scene of just like, and then the guy getting all pissed off, like, my wife spent 4 hours sewing these goddamn things, and it was just so good. But yeah, but then the bear movie is
Yeah,
where
they
where
won.
he gets his award.
I don't think I even watched half of it. It fucking wasn't
It
good. I
wasn't
don't
good.
get
I didn't
whatever.
like it. I mean, there were some other ones that weren't as good that were still better.
Yeah.
Like Shutter Island, or I liked Inception, but that one
Inception too,
that
really
was
good.
fun.
I don't know if he should win for that. The movie as a whole is fucking amazing,
Yeah,
but
yeah. I don't.
oh,
He didn't have that performance, but he wasn't that character in that either.
no, he wasn't like the main
Yeah, but
main.
he should have won it for Django, um, and what's it in Gilbert Grape. Those are the two, in my
He should have
opinion,
won it
are the
for that.
best. Yeah.
He should have had it his whole fucking
Oh,
career.
Shutter Island was so good. Like, I didn't know what I was watching. Shutter Island.
Shutter Island's one of those that you wish you could rewatch, but you'll never be able to.
Yeah. Well, I Shutter Island happened the same way Fight Club happened for me. I think I went over to my mom's house one day, and she
Yeah.
was watching Shutter Island, and it had just come on, and I just kind of sat down and just started watching it, and
Oh, I
then
hope you. I was waiting for you to say yeah. And I was, oh, is this the one where he's in
oh
the asylum?
oh no,
I hope. I was
no,
like, I hope
I
you.
hadn't seen it. I hadn't seen it, and I don't think
Oh,
she
okay.
had either, and it was just, all of a sudden it's 2 hours later, and I'm just like, whoa, like that was a good movie, and
Yeah,
at the
that's
same,
like that's like the twist that fucking Sixth Sense hit us all with,
yeah,
and you can just you'll never
never see it again.
re-experience that.
Well,
Yeah.
another one that is like that for me was Fight Club. I came
Mm.
in. I was the girl I was dating in high school. I went over to her house to hang out with her and her sister and her sister's boyfriend. And when I got there, the three of them were sitting on the couch, and Fight Club had just started. It had just finished the opening credits. So I didn't know what I was watching. I didn't know anything about it. Never heard of it. Didn't know the name. Nothing. And we sat down and started watching it. And like we were going to go out. I think we were going to like go to a movie or go out like a double date. And
Yeah.
we ended up sitting in the house all afternoon watching this movie. And then it gets to the end, and there's the big reveal, and you're just like, "Fuck! What the fuck did I just watch?" I like going back and watching. That's one that you know the reveal, and I like going back and watching it, looking for the moments that like, oh, if I really had been paying attention, I would have realized it right there. You know how they were never in the same room talking to the same people at the same time. They were always talking to
Yeah.
each other, and
Well, that's a cool one because you'll never notice it the first time watching
no,
it.
not at all. Or at least my 17-year-old brain didn't catch it. But
Yeah.
there was other things happening too, and there's a blanket and things, and what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But it was still like, what the fuck? It was such a good movie. Loved
You're in the middle. You're like, hey, hang on. What the fuck?
it. That's actually pretty accurate. Yeah, that's one of my favorites. I love Fight Club.
Mm.
I just and I'm of that generation of Fight Club is meant more to be the Gen X movie,
Yeah.
and I growing up in that pre-internet era, the pre-internet millennials, still we still have a lot in common with the Gen Xers, and that movie is a great bridge between young Gen Xers and older millennials. Uh, well,
Fuck.
we are
Well, we don't want to.
we're an hour and a
Yeah.
half in.
So I was gonna
Um,
say we don't want to do another Drunken Halo Podtacular episode. We
um,
should probably do.
what's your cream of the week? I actually have one
Uh,
this week.
oh, me too. So mine. Do mine first, I guess.
Okay.
Mine is the dude that fucking cleans the dirty ass rugs.
That guy on TikTok or YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been watching him on TikToks for weeks. Normally when I'm pooping, I'm like scroll. Ooh, a rug. So
Yeah.
then I can watch the whole thing, and I'm like, well, when this video's done, I'll be done. But
then it's
the
a
cool thing
three-part
about
video
him,
because he's got to flip it over and do the other side.
well, the one that I watch, he does it all in one video. But the cool thing that I just learned, he also does YouTube. So the ones on TikTok are like 4 or 5 minutes long. Some of them are longer, depending on the rug. But then the ones he puts up on YouTube are like 10, 15, 20 minutes long. So it's like the same rug, but he cuts it longer. And then I guess on his Patreon, he also really releases the full, like uncut, like him cleaning it for an hour and a half. If you want to sit and watch the whole fucking thing from all the different angles, because he has a bunch of cameras and stuff set up. But yeah, I think it's like Green Mountain Rug Cleaning or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, uh,
I'll end up watching
I'm
them
sure it's
too.
this. I'm sure it's the same one that we're all watching.
Yeah, no, I guarantee it is. All right.
He's got the little fucking little pool weird area. I can't tell what's in his
Yeah.
garage or what. The little white tarp that's set
Yep.
up in there.
Yep. That's the same one.
Mountain Rug Cleaning. That's the guy.
Yeah. And it's so weird that that's what we end up watching.
Yeah,
But yeah,
with the,
no,
he's
you're
got
right.
fucking Dirt Reynolds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, if you want to watch some ASMR, a dude clean a rug, it's satisfying to watch.
Strangely satisfying.
Yeah, it's a good poop one.
Well, for me, um, I've been trying to be more active doing streaming and whatnot.
Yeah.
Um, so until I can afford here in a couple of months, I'm going to pull the trigger and make the investment and buy a more powerful computer. Um, until I get to that point, I'm playing games that I know my computer can handle and I can stream at the same time.
Oh yeah.
So
So
I
you're venturing into PC games a little.
well no I've been playing a lot of like the emulator stuff because it's easy to stream and it's
Oh.
quick and easy to do. Um, so I've been playing with that, and over the weekend I streamed some Mortal Kombat and a couple of other things, and I found one. It was a Super Nintendo game. I'd never heard of it. It's called Metal Marine. Never
Hmm.
heard of it. Didn't know what it is. It's pretty much. It's kind of like an RTS, kind of. But you are the world has been taken over by the evil empire, and you are a part of the resistance to save. To retake the world back from the evil empire bad people.
Hmm.
But it's
Looks
literally
weird.
so it's played on the map is you have an island and they have an island, and your job is to build up your forces and fire rockets and whatnot at your enemy to try to take them out, eliminate their bases, and you have your ground troops are these like Gundam style, these big walking mechanical creatures, and
Yeah.
they're metal marines. They have a marine inside and whatnot. They're metal marines, and it's just an RTS, and you're building up your forces, attacking them, and they build up their forces and attack you, and it's
I noticed those like one-off ones are weirdly like good to stream because nobody else is streaming it.
yeah.
And
Well,
you'll get some weirdo that comes in and goes, "Oh, I just love these. I have a bot set up to
oh,
tell me when
shut the
people are
fuck
streaming Metal
up.
Marine."
But I've been streaming. I started it Saturday, Friday. I think I started it Saturday, and I ended up doing three parts because I played some in the morning, and then I went and did some things, and then I came back and streamed some more, and then I had dinner, and then I streamed again. So I've done three segments, and I think between the three segments, I've probably got 8 hours of gameplay ish.
Of
And
Metal Marine.
of Metal Marine, I have about 8 hours of playing it.
How long does like one game last? Are you still playing the
Uh,
same one or?
no, I'm on level 10, and it takes 30 minutes to an hour to play each level. And
Hmm.
every time you finish a level, it gives you a password so you can start at that level. If you turn it off or whatnot, like the old school save states.
Uh, yeah, the old school save that's the
Yeah,
six
yeah.
letter code and you yeah.
And I think I'm not halfway yet. Like
You think you're not
I don't
halfway?
think I'm halfway because you have to rescue North America, and then you move to Europe, and then I'm in Europe right now, and I still have Asia and Australia and Africa. So there's way more levels than I thought there would be, and I've been having a great time playing it.
Hmm.
It's fun. I like that style of strategy game. I like the RTS build up your military and do bases and things like that. Like I like those games; they're fun. So I just stumbled into this game, and I will probably. Oh, shut up, Rabble. Yeah, level 10 was bad. Like it was rough. Um, but I will probably stream it again over the weekend, next weekend, because I'm trying to do Diablo on Mondays, and then Tuesday I do D&D, which we don't stream. Uh, Wednesday is supposed to be Worship Wednesday, but I keep coming back and doing Diablo with it because I'm just having a ton of fun playing that game. And then Thursday we stream our D&D, and then Friday I probably will do more of that. But it's been a lot of fun. I mean, Rabble has come and hang out, which I'm always eternally grateful, and Philk is there hanging out. Don't have a lot of people hanging out. Like we have way more people in here tonight for this show than we have just about any other time. But I mean, I'd like to build an audience doing it, but I'm just really enjoying playing it. And then if people show up and want to watch, great. I know Rabble. It's something to keep him entertained while he's at work. So I mean, if I'm at least entertaining one person, I'm happy. So, but yeah, I'm trying to get back into it. It's but I'm hoping here maybe around October, November, um, I'm going to max out a credit card and buy something that I know is stable enough that I can play the games that I've not been able to play.
Yeah. Maybe we can stream the podcast in better than 680p.
Well, that
Oh,
too.
well, 640p, whatever. Same
Whatever
thing.
the fuck it is. And it's getting there. This has been a work in progress, and it's been a
Yeah.
um, we're miles above where we were 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't hear trial anymore, so I'm good.
Trial.
God, dude,
Trial.
so bad.
I'll have to make a program that'll just repeat that to you every 10 seconds.
Oh, I
So,
just
I don't know how you kept on talking track and kept your thoughts together. Trial.
I honestly, it's a testament of how much I love doing this podcast. Like
Trial.
this is always the highlight of my day. It's I always look forward to it every week of doing it, and if I have to put up with trial in the background every it was like every
Yeah.
25
We'll do
30
it.
seconds, I'll always do it. I love it. I won't trade it for anything. So
Yeah. I was wondering the other day if I'll be like 80 and go, I'm gonna go back and listen to the pig spot. And I go through the first like 20. I'm like, these sound like shit. I'm gonna go a little further.
you're gonna get to episode 74, Misa Body, Misa Choice.
Yeah, Misa body, Misa choice. I'm gonna start there. I'm gonna start recommending that to people that ask. I'll be like, yeah, you should check out
Episode.
episode 74, Misa body, Misa choice. It's about Jar Jar. You really like
Yeah, it's great. It's
it.
great.
I don't remember what we talked about. I need to go back and listen to.
Honestly, I can't tell you what we talked about last week. I
I,
barely,
I,
you
I
know,
don't remember.
it's
I
it,
know it
it
was extra political last week, which we kind of did again, but
it's fine. There's not much going on in gaming right now yet. We got
no.
StarCraft or Star Citizen. Is that that's the one? Isn't that it? The one that's coming out here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's one I want to play. I will probably put everything down to play that, at
I bet
least
it'll
for a
be
little bit.
delayed. We'll see.
Oh, I guarantee it'll be delayed. It wouldn't surprise me in the least.
Yeah, other than that, I updated the Flappy Pig again. So I went back and I played the OG and I realized it was a lot more chaotic. Like he goes up a lot and he drops a lot, like really fast. The ups and downs are really fast. I was like, all right, I'll try that. So I made the Flappy Pig, the Pig's Pod version, a lot more like the original Flappy Bird. So I think at first it feels like it's a lot harder, but it's actually a lot easier to control them. Like when you have two pipes that are way distant from each other, because it goes down and up so fast, you can actually like cover those distances now. And then it just becomes about like actually controlling him. Because before, if you had one that was up and the next one was down, he went down too slow, so you just fucking lost. There was nothing you could do about it. But
Rabble says he has a bug report.
that's we put those in the recycle bin. Yeah, than
uh,
that, I can't think of anything
yeah,
else. So
I think that's an episode. It was a good one.
yeah, yeah, almost 2 hours. We're a little shy of it.
That's about right.
Hour 40, whatever. We're good.
And we got actually, if um if our Tuesday game falls under, which I think it might,
Yeah.
um I'm thinking about maybe trying to run another Tuesday game, but not running D&D.
Mm. Like a what?
I don't know. I did see that Roll20 just put out they got the setup for the Alien um, RPG game,
Oh,
and
it'd be fun if we could figure out how the fuck to get the GTA RPG working.
oh yeah, well once again, when I have a better computer, that's something that we can do. Or Tycoon Tuesday. I could go back to Roller Coaster Tycoon. I like Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Rabble's like, don't you dare take away my Tycoon Tuesday. You talk about some other day, not Tuesday.
All right, well, let's call it there.
All right. Well, thanks for coming, Phil and Rabbly Rabble.
And there's
Good.
other of you that are hanging out in the stream.
Those
Uh,
of you watching,
yeah,
got nothing better to do.
yeah, slap that follow button and let me know you're here because I appreciate the follows and it makes me feel good inside. So help me give me a warm fuzzy.
Yeah, give them a warm fuzzy and visit thepigspod.com, but
Yep.
don't submit bug reports. We throw those away.
All right.
All right, bye Q. Oh, I just figured out what the outro song is going to be.
Oh.
Yeah, the Barbie. I'm a Barbie girl and a All right, bye everybody.
Good night, guys.
Bye Q.
Bye.